Hello and welcome to Create Crochet with me, Rebecca. In today's video we're going to learn how to do this granny square but with a daisy centre. As you can see, I'm going to be using a multitude of colours. I'm going to be using a size 5mm hook, and you'll need a pair of scissors just to snip off any ends. Okay, so let's get started. So the first colour that you're going to need is the yellow, and this is for the centre of the daisy. And with the short end in your left hand and the long end attached to the ball of wool in your right hand, you're going to make a twist like so, and then pull your yarn through that hole, and that creates a slip knot. If you pull on the small end, it tightens that up. Right, so we're going to chain 5. So yarn over and come through 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and we're going to join to this first chain to create a loop. So the way we do that is hook in, yarn over and come through 1 and come through 2. We're going to be working into the middle of this here. Now we're not going to snip off this loose end right now because I'm going to show you a bit of a trick. Into this here we're going to make 12 single crochet. So in here, pull up the loop, you've got 2 on your hook, yarn over and come through both. So we're going to be doing that 12 times. That was 1 and 2, and as you work, hold this tail end across the top of your chain here, and you won't need to sew it in later. So that was 2, 3, 4. Can you see how that tail end is being pushed down by the single crochet? 5, 6, 7, 8. It's always when I get to 8 that I'll now cut this tail end off. So you just come along with your sharp scissors and just cut that off and discard it. Nine, 10, 11 and 12. Now we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet that we made. So into the top of the first single crochet, yarn over, come through and come through, and that's the center of your daisy made. So all we're going to do is chain 1. Now I always chain 1 when I'm about to snip my yarn off. I chain 1 because I trust a chain more with holding the stitch than what I do a slip stitch. It just holds it a little bit more secure, and then just snip that off. I'm only giving it that much because again I'm going to over crochet this tail end here. Come through and just give it a pull, and that is now nice and secure. So now we need to move on to the white. So again with the white you're going to make a slip stitch, so you make the loop and bring it through, pulling on the short end to tighten this up. Now I'm going to put my hook into the loop and just make it the right size, but then take my hook back out because we're not actually going to use this straight away. Now get the center of your daisy and put your hook in anywhere. So at the top of that single crochet, then join on your white yarn, and you're going to chain 4. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4, like so. I don't think you can see the white of this yarn too much, so let me just get this here. Yeah, that looks better. Right, so this chain 4 is the same height as a triple crochet, and that is the American term. So we're going to do a triple. Now how to do a triple is yarn over twice into the same place where we joined the white yarn, again lying this tail end over so you can crochet it in. You're going to go back into this same place and pick up a loop like so. So now you have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to go yarn over, come through 2, so you have 3 left, yarn over, come through 2, so you have 2 left, yarn over and take off those last 2. And you need to do a triple crochet 4 times to make 1 petal into the previous round's single crochet. Now as I said, this chain 4 counts as 1, so theoretically that's 1, 2. So again, yarn over twice into the same place and pull up a loop like so. You're going to go yarn over, come through 2, yarn over, come through 2, yarn over and come through the last 2. So that's 3, and 1 more into the same place. Just catch that tail up. Yarn over, come through 2, yarn over, come through 2, yarn over and come through 2. Now we need to make this petal pop. And how we do that is make this loop a little bit bigger and take your hook out. Come to your chain, and you need to come to the top of your 4th chain and put your hook in. Pick this loop up, pull it to the right size and come through the chain, and that makes it pop. Right, we're going to chain 1, and that gives us a chain 1 gap for the next round, and then we're going to go again our 4 triple crochets into the very next single crochet that you come to. We're not going to skip any of these. We're going to do a petal in each one because we want them really close together, otherwise they won't be that poppy. Again, I'm going to lay that tail over my work so when I come through it's caught up like so. Yarn over, come through 2. Whoops, let's try that one again. Yarn over, come through 2, yarn over, come through 2, yarn over, come through 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So again, make this loop a little bit bigger, and instead of going through the chain this time, because we've got this chain 1 gap, we're going to go into the top of the first triple crochet that we made for this petal. And if you're unsure as to how to find it, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's this first one that you come to here. Hook in, pick up the loop of the top, just pull gently on this long end to make it the right size and come through and chain 1. Now you must chain 1 to give you this gap so that when we come to do the next round, that's the actual granny, the noticeable granny stitch. So I'm going to do this once more with you and then let you go ahead and do your 12 petals. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make this loop bigger. Come to the first triple crochet that we made of this cluster and hook in and come through. And now you can see, let me just remove my hook to show you, now you can see that here you're getting the base of the petal because it's pulling the stitch out, and you count your petals 1, 2 and 3. So we've made 3 together. Please go ahead and make 12 and I will see you in a second. So I'm just about to do my last triple crochet of my last petal. I have to kind of like move things or squidge them back so I can get in there. And then chain 1, and now we have to find the top of this petal here to do our slip stitch. So you just kind of like find the top and slip stitch, and as I said before, I always chain 1 just to make sure it's all really secure, and then snip off the end, pull my hook through, and that's the actual daisy part of your daisy granny crochet square complete. So now I'm just going to cut off these tail ends on there and work it back, and the white one I actually managed to completely crochet over. So now we need to do the actual granny square part, and we're going to change colours. So I've decided to go with blues. You can go with whatever colour you want, but again we need to do exactly the same as what we did for the white, and that's make our slip knot and come through, and then we're going to go into any one of our chain 1 spaces. Make sure you don't go through the actual petal but into these chain 1 spaces. Hook straight in, naked hook straight in, put the loop on, sort my yarn out, and come through and just give it a bit of a thing. Right, so we're going to chain 2, so that was 1 and 2. Now we need to tell our yarn that we have a circle going into a square. Now the way we do that is we're going to do half double crochets for 2 clusters and then our corner. So yarn over once, again we're going to crochet over the top of this tail end into the chain 1 space and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and come through all 3 loops on your hook. So this chain 2 counts as the height of 1 half double crochet, so that's 1. We have 1 here and we need to do 3, so we have 1 more to make. So yarn over, hook into the chain 1 gap and pull up a loop, yarn over and come through all 3 on our hook. And now I'm going to snip off this loose end here, like so, discard it. So now we need to jump to the next chain 1 gap. We are not going to do any chains in between this here. So yarn over and we're going to do a cluster of 3 half double crochets. So that's 1, 2 and 3. So that effectively is the side of our square. Now we need to do a corner, but for the corner we're going to be doing double crochet. So yarn over into the chain 1 gap and pull up a loop like we do with the half double crochet. So we have 3 loops on our hook, except this time we're going to go yarn over and come through 2, yarn over and come through 2, and again we're going to do 3 of those. Yarn over into the chain 1 gap, so we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, come through 2, yarn over and come through 2, and that's 2 that we have there. Okay, so we have 3 double crochet in this chain 1 gap. We need to chain 2, so 1 and 2, and we need to do 3 more double crochet into the same place, and that gives us our corner, and that corner stays the same for every round that we're on. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So now you can see that the yarn wants to go round the corner because we have this section here. Again, we're going to make 2 half double crochet clusters of 3 in a chain 1 gap. And this is my tail end, so it wants to go that way, so I'm going to let it go that way, and I'm going to crochet over the top. So yarn over for 1, 2, ooh, doesn't want to go through, and 3, and again I'm just going to snip off this white tail here just so it doesn't get in my way, like that. So we have 1 cluster of 3 half double crochets. We're not going to chain to jump to the next one, and we're going to do another set of half double crochet cluster, 2, and 3. So we have 2 clusters, so now we have to repeat our corner. So into the next chain 1 gap, and again to do a double crochet, it's yarn over, in, come through 2, come through 2, so that's 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, and then back into the same place for 3 more. So 1, 2, and 3. So now you can see the square really starting to form around our circle of petals, and by doing the half double crochet it's a smaller stitch, so it will allow the circle to remain its shape but create this square. So carry on and do that. So you've got 2 sets of half double crochet and then you have a corner. So you should have 4 corners by the end of it, and I'll join you in a second. So I've just done my last corner, and I need to slip stitch to the top of my half double crochet that I first made. So hook into the top of the stitch, yarn over and come through. Now instead of breaking off this colour, I'm going to show you what to do if you want to continue with the same colour. On the next round I will show you how to change colour, but that's what you should have right now. So hook in, and we're going to slip stitch into this gap here. So just come across like so, and then into here. I think we can move this out of the way now. I think we can see it. So this time we're going to do double crochet into each gap. That's the last half double crochet that we're going to be doing. From here on in it's all double crochet. So the height of a double crochet is a chain 3. And into this gap, so we've got our 1 here, we're going to put another 2 more. And this time we are going to chain 1 in between each cluster, because we now want to start opening our granny square up. This was kind of like our roots, if you like, or our foundations, but from here on in we want it to be a recognisable granny square. So we chain 1 in between each of our double crochet cluster. So into the next one for 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and then we're at the corner, and we're going to do the corners exactly the same all the way through. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all into this gap here. So let's do that together. So 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and again 1, 2 and 3, chain 1. Chain 1 is literally leaping us to the next gap, and then we start again with our cluster of 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3 and chain 1. So carry on going all the way round, and I will see you here and I'll show you how to change colour. Okay, so I've just finished doing my last double crochet, chain 1 and slip stitch excuse me, slip stitch to the top of your double crochet here, and as always chain 1 just to help it be that little bit more secure, snip and come through. So if you want to carry on going with the same colour, it's really easy. From here you'll slip stitch across the top, come into this one, chain 3 and off you go again. But if you did want to change colour, here's how to do it. It couldn't be easier, honestly. You get your new colour and you make your slip knot as usual and pull through. Put your hook anywhere. So I'm going to do my corner first. You can start off with a cluster, it's entirely up to you. Hook in, chain 3, and then you just do your corner as normal. So this chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. So that, and I'm holding the tail across so I don't have to weave in any ends. If you don't do this, weaving in the ends later will be an absolute nightmare because you'll have so many of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, whoops, that's frayed a little bit. Let's do that stitch again. Never be afraid to pull your work. It's perfectly normal, it's perfectly fine, it's not life and death, it's just yarn. So that's 1, 2 and 3, chain 1 and off I go again. But I'm just going to snip this end off here like so. So then I'd carry on, and once I come to this one I'd lie the piece of yarn across this gap here. Let me move that out of the way so you can see. Lie this piece of yarn across this gap here and do my 3 double crochet over the top and snip. But that's all from me today, folks. I think you've got the idea as to how to do this and how to change colours. You've been an absolute pleasure to be with. Thank you so much.